honestly, we could kind of just start back to square one. Grace, what initially kind of drew you to horror movies?
I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I don't know. Like, I can't remember a time where I was like, ooh, this is something I want to,
It's like you can't think about it when you should think it. Like,
exactly.
Hey, we're doing a podcast. Think of some ideas. And you're like, I
right.
got nothing.
Well, and it's just kind of always the way that I was. And I remember, like, when I was, younger, around Halloween, they would play The Scariest Places on Earth, that TV show. And every year I had to watch it. And I think that it's one of those, like, when you're a kid, you're like, ooh, that's, weird and creepy, and I need to know more about it. And I said when you're a kid, I'm still like that. You know, just like the macabre and the strange and the unusual just is very fascinating.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is curiosity. I think it's, when you look at, like, Dahmer, like that whole, the Netflix thing came out. Because I feel conflicted. Because and I've not watched the show, but I've heard the show kind of goes a little bit more out of its way than other stuff to kind of talk about the victims and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same concept of why people get attracted to true crime, where it's like you're curious about this and you want to know more about this, but you shouldn't, because it's like and I'm not criticizing anybody for enjoying true crime. I do. Like, everybody watches it.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves train wrecks.
Right.
And I think that's kind of part of it, is like we love the idea. Because if you think about it, when you're watching Friday the 13th, or you're watching Halloween, or you're watching, Nightmare on Elm Street, most of the time you're rooting for the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's kind of the appeal of it, maybe, is like, ooh, there's these things that I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because what do? When you watch them, you're like, ooh, how creative are they going to kill this person?
Exactly. Well, and I took a zombie film studies class in college. And one of the things that we talked about was, why do we love zombie films? Why do we laugh when a zombie gets, like, run over by a car and, like, their head explodes, whatever? Because if you saw that in your day-to-day, you wouldn't laugh at that, right? Because it's horrifying.
As someone who's seen someone get hit by a car in real time, it's horrifying. Let me tell you.
Well, that got real.
Funny story. It was a quick story. I was on my way to a class, and it was when I was living in Lincoln, and it was on the other side of the street, because it was one of those, like, divided ones, So I was going one way, and they were going the other direction. I didn't hit anybody. I want to make that very clear. But the car on the other side, I saw these kids, and this is like, this would be around school. This would be in the fall. And these kids are running over to the other side of the street. And I think there was like 3 of them. And the other 2 made it. The third kid, not so much. And I was just, because it was like watching it in slow motion. And I don't know why that car took so long, like why that car didn't stop sooner, because the kid wasn't going super fast. Yeah. And I'm only making these jokes because the kid was fine. But it's horrifying, and you would not laugh, because the kid got hit and his shoe flew away, and I didn't know, like, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like, when you see something like that in real life, like, something's actually at stake,
it
right?
Shook me.
Like, a person could die. Yeah. And if you're watching a movie, it's fake. Like,
right, yeah,
you're safe.
There's the fourth wall to,
Yeah. And so that's what we surmised in this class, was that there's a safe element where that it's not real, and so something becomes comical because your brain just can't process it.
Which is why I think I saw more of an appeal in slashers, because the kills get so ridiculous.
They do.
So over the top. They're comedic.
Well, like in, what is it, Friday the 13th Part 7, I think, when the girl's in the sleeping bag and he, like, throws her against the tree.
Jason X. Because it was in the simulation in the ship.
It happened before that as well, though. It was in a different movie. Yeah, I just know I love Kane Hodder.
Right, that kill has happened a couple times.
Yeah. But, like, like, that is ridiculous. It's so crazy. Like, but people love it. It's their favorite one.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because I think you're in the same boat as I am. Were you exposed to them at a younger age than you probably should have been?
Friday the 13th, no. I did see the...
Well, I'm just saying horror movies
in general. My dad let me watch the original It when I was 2 years old. And now I am petrified of clowns. So, yes. I did see the second Halloween film when I was 7 or 8. And I remember loving that.
And that did not connect with you at all.
No.
Because you don't have a bunch of Michael Myers.
No, I definitely
memorabilia.
do not have a Michael Myers bobblehead in my car. I do not have Michael Myers tattooed upon my body.
Yeah. What a shitty franchise, right? You just.
It's the worst, I tell you.
So you were 8. Yeah, I was. My brother is about 7 years older than me, and he was into horror movies. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how your setup at home was, but like the basement was our domain.
Yeah.
Like their parents were upstairs. We were pretty much always hanging out downstairs, and he would buy these DVDs and stuff, and the thing is too, I didn't really watch the older stuff until I got older. So I was watching like current things, so like 2002, 2003, and honestly, they have their place, but most horror movies made in that time frame are not very good. Yeah. But because a lot of them are just so focused on gore and so focused, there was the torture porn era.
Right. Well, and I think too.
And my wife is in the room and she's not happy. I said that. Look, I like Ghost Ship. You talk about how interject here. You might hear my son.
13 Ghosts.
13
is
Ghosts.
One of my most favorite movies ever. It's the nostalgia. I don't know why, but I love that.
My son's got the mic now.
That's
also Ghost Ship. You cannot tell me that opening scene with the piano wire going across. I don't know if it's a piano wire, but the wire going across, slicing everyone.
Here's the thing about Ghost Ship,
though. One of the greatest kills of all time.
Oh, Link's got something to say.
Son, you don't eat the mic, buddy. It's only a couple inches from your mouth. You don't eat it. No, it's like.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.